so today we're diving into something pretty incredible. It's Jasmin Paris completing the Barkley marathons.
Right.
And it's
pretty wild.
It's clear that this is not just like any race that somebody finished. This is kind of a landmark thing, and we're going to really get into why that is, why this story captured so much attention, what makes the Barkley marathons so unique, and hopefully by the end you'll have a better understanding of what Jasmin Paris did and why it's so important.
Totally. I mean, when you first even hear about the Barkley marathons, you realize that it's not just like any other ultra marathon or even just any other like race.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it exists on this different plane. And the fact that like it's been around since 1986
Right.
and only 20 people have finished before this year.
Only 20 finishers in like almost 4 decades.
Yeah.
All right, so let's actually like break this down so people understand like how insane this is. Something like 5 consecutive 20+ mile loops. So you would think like, oh, so it's just like a bunch of marathons basically. But like that's obviously not the case. What is it that makes this so much harder?
I mean, the term marathon in the name, I think, is almost a joke. Because first of all, you're talking about 100 miles, which, you know, already a lot of ultramarathons are longer than that. But it's 100 miles of completely unmarked trail.
Unmarked, okay.
And when they say mostly off trail, they're talking about like you're bushwhacking through the woods. You're like going up and down, like crazy elevation. And speaking of elevation, you're talking about approximately 65,000 feet of elevation gain,
That's insane.
which is like more than twice the height of Mount Everest.
Oh.
And you're doing that all on foot.
Oh.
Not like you're climbing up it. You're going up and down,
Yeah.
and you're doing that over the course of like almost 3 days.
Just trying to picture that in my head. Up and down the equivalent of Everest like 2.5 times.
More than 2.
More than 2 in like 3 days. So, and then here's where it gets really interesting for me. Gary Laz Cantrell, who's the race organizer, he suggested back in 2015 that women weren't tough enough to finish the Barkley marathons. So when you hear that, and then you hear that Jasmin Paris finished it, what do you think the reaction was to that kind of statement from Laz back then?
I think it kind of goes to show you what the culture of the Barkley marathons is like. Laz has always kind of cultivated this mystique around it, almost impossible.
Yeah.
And I think his comments, whether they were like a serious belief or not, probably reflected the reality at the time. But also, I think it was probably a way to kind of like egg people on. Like, I don't think you can do this, so prove me wrong.
Almost like a challenge.
Exactly.
So, okay, so let's try to picture this moment. It's March 22nd at Frozen Head State Park, and Jasmin Paris is coming across the finish line. She's wearing like a red shirt, black capris, covered head to toe in mud and scratches, and can barely keep her eyes open.
You can just imagine like
What did that tell you?
the state she must have been in after, 3 days of just like pushing herself to the limit. Like,
Right. It wasn't like a leisurely jog through the woods.
No.
It was like,
this was like an all-out war with the course and the
Yeah.
clock and her own limits.
and then so she touches the yellow gate, which is like the finish line, and immediately collapses.
Just complete exhaustion,
Yeah.
but also like relief. Like,
Yeah.
I did it.
And what's amazing is her finishing time, 59 hours, 58 minutes, and 21 seconds.
99 seconds before the cutoff. Can you imagine that like
Yeah.
you're out there for 3 days and you come in with less than 2 minutes to spare?
I can't even imagine the mental fortitude required to keep going when you're that close.
And she had no idea what time it was. Like, they
Right.
don't wear watches. They don't have any timekeeping devices. So she's just going on pure instinct and feel.
And pushing herself with 99 seconds to go. And this wasn't even her first time.
No, this is her third.
Third time attempting this race.
And in 2023, she actually finished 4 of the 5 loops. So close.
How important do you think like that experience was in her being able to finish it this time?
I mean, I think it was crucial. I think every time you face a challenge like the Barkleys, you learn something. You learn about the terrain. You learn about yourself. You learn about like how to manage your energy. And I think that by the time she got to her 3rd attempt, she had all of this knowledge and experience
Yeah, just that grit to keep going.
to draw on.
So for the listeners who might not know a lot about ultramarathons,
Right.
let's talk about the fact that it's 100 unmarked, mostly off-trail miles.
Right.
And then it's approximately 65,000 feet of elevation gain. So the navigational aspect of this, like not even being on a trail or having to find your own way, is like a huge element to this.
It adds a whole other level of difficulty. So you're already exhausted, you're sleep deprived, and now you have to be like thinking clearly and navigating with a map and a compass through like dense wilderness.
And on top of that, they have to find hidden books along the way.
Right, it's like a scavenger hunt, top of everything else.
On top of trying to not die in the woods for 3 days. So it's clear that Jasmin Paris is not somebody who just woke up and was like, I'm gonna go run this crazy race.
No, she's has been doing this for a while.
This is like a culmination of years of experience. So she won the 268-mile Montane Spine Race in 2019. And that's another just insane achievement.
Breaking the course record by 12 hours in a 268-mile race, like that's just phenomenal.
And she was stopping during that race
to pump breast milk for her daughter.
To pump breast milk.
Who was 14 months old at the time.
Oh my gosh. So
like she's not just an athlete, she's also a mom. And she's dealing with all of the demands that come with that.
The physical demands of motherhood, plus the physical demands of this race. And on top of all of that, she's a mom.
A lecturer in veterinary studies at the University of Edinburgh, specializing in small animal internal medicine.
She has a whole other career.
That's a full life.
And life on top of this. So what do you think drives somebody like that?
I mean, clearly there's an incredible drive there. A passion for pushing her limits. She was training in Scotland in the winter.
In the cold and wet.
Getting up early before her kids woke up to get her runs in. Like, that's dedication.
And then she makes this comment about how she's running for women around the world, which is...
She's not just doing it for herself.
She's not doing it for the fame. She's doing it to inspire other people.
She wants to show women that they can do anything.
Exactly.
That they can push their limits and achieve their goals.
And I think her message has resonated with people because all this media attention that she's gotten, and even recognition from the British royal family.
A marathon story. This is a story that has captured the attention of the world because it's about so much more than just running.
Exactly.
It's about human potential and perseverance and breaking down barriers.
So to sum it all up, Jasmin Paris didn't just complete this race that many people consider the toughest in the world. She did it in a way that a lot of people thought was impossible for a woman. She did it with this incredible resilience and strategic brilliance coming in just under the wire. And she did it all while being a mom, having a career.
And just living her life.
It's truly inspiring. And I think it makes you wonder what other seemingly impossible challenges are out there that are just waiting for somebody just redefine what's possible. That's what Jasmin Paris did.